Okay, so what you're about to hear is a true story. It's about a legendary hunter, an absolutely terrifying tiger, and a single discovery that completely changed how we understand the wild. And believe it or not, it all starts with just one number. 436. No, that's not a typo. That is the confirmed number of people who were killed by just one animal. Before we even get to the hero of our story, you have to grasp the incredible scale of terror this one tiger was responsible for. So, faced with this absolute crisis, the government turned to the one man they thought could possibly end the bloodshed. A guy named Edward James Corbett, but everyone just called him Jim. Now, Jim Corbett wasn't your typical big game hunter, not at all. He was born and raised right there in the Himalayan foothills, so he had this incredible, deep understanding of the jungle. He was a master tracker and a crack shot, for sure, but he only ever picked up his rifle as a last resort, when a predator crossed a line and started hunting people. Believe it or not, he actually preferred his camera and spent way more time filming wildlife than he ever did shooting it. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of his entire philosophy. Corbett didn't see himself as some conqueror of nature. He believed that a man-eater was an aberration, that something had gone terribly wrong. He saw his duty as correcting this tragic imbalance, a problem he suspected that humans often had a hand in creating in the first place. And wow, was there ever an imbalance in the case of the Champawat tiger? This wasn't just an animal. It became a phenomenon, a creature that literally held an entire region hostage. Let's look at the profile of this killer, because it is just chilling. We're talking about a single Bengal tigress. Her 436 victims earned her a pretty grim spot in the Guinness Book of World Records. But here's what's maybe the most terrifying part. Unlike most tigers who hunt at dawn or dusk, she almost always attacked in broad daylight. Just think about that. It shattered any sense of safety people had. Her reign of terror actually started over in Nepal. The attacks got so bad, the government sent in the army, but even they couldn't capture or kill her. All they managed to do was push her across the border into the Kumaon district of India, and the killing just continued. The effect was absolutely paralyzing. I mean, imagine being too scared to leave your home for anything. Men were afraid to go work in the forests. Women were afraid to get water. Kids couldn't even play outside. The entire rhythm of life just broke down under the weight of this constant, unbearable fear. So this is where Jim Corbett enters the picture. He agreed to the government's desperate plea to hunt the tigress. But what he would uncover after the hunt, well, that turned out to be way more important than the hunt itself. Okay, so after a few failed attempts, Corbett picked up her trail right after her final tragic kill, a 16-year-old girl. The hunt became this massive community effort. With the help of about 300 villagers who were just desperate for it to end, Corbett managed to set a trap. And finally, he cornered and shot the tigress, ending her years of terror. But for Corbett, the story was far from over. The biggest question of all still lingered. Why? Why would a tiger, an animal that naturally wants nothing to do with people, suddenly turn into a serial killer of humans? And the answer, the absolute key to this whole story, came during the postmortem examination. On the right side of her jaw, the tigress's upper and lower canine teeth, the tools she absolutely needed to kill her natural prey, were broken clean off. It was an old injury, from a gunshot from some other hunter years and years before. Because she couldn't hunt fast prey like deer or boar anymore, she was forced to turn to the only prey she could still catch: us. Slow, easy-to-catch humans. This discovery was like a lightning bolt for Jim Corbett. It changed him forever. It confirmed everything he suspected and set him on a totally new path, transforming him from a hunter of man-eaters into a protector of all wildlife. You see, the Champawat case was the ultimate proof of his theory, that tigers aren't born evil. They become man-eaters out of sheer desperation, when an injury or just old age makes it impossible for them to survive any other way. We become the prey of last resort. And this, right here, is the most profound takeaway from this whole story. The root cause of 436 deaths wasn't some monster tiger. It was a human. A hunter who had wounded the animal years ago and just left it to a life of pain and desperation. The monster wasn't born, it was made. I love this way of thinking about it. His journey was kind of like a soldier becoming a peacekeeper. Corbett realized that hunting these man-eaters was just treating a symptom. The real disease was the growing conflict between humans and wildlife. So he went from being a soldier on the front lines to being a peacekeeper, trying to solve the problem at its source. So what'd he do? He basically put down his rifle and took on a new mission. He started speaking out against hunting for sport. He used his fame to teach people about the real causes of these conflicts, things like deforestation and humans moving into animal habitats. His weapon wasn't a gun anymore. It was his voice and his pen. And this complete 180, this radical shift in his life's work, is what would define his incredible legacy, turning the name of a famous hunter into a global symbol for conservation. He was actually a key player in establishing India's very first national park, which was originally called Haley National Park. He passed away in 1955, and just 2 years later, that very same park was renamed in his honor. Today, the Jim Corbett National Park is a living testament to his life's work. Think about that for a second. It's the ultimate beautiful irony, isn't it? The man who became famous because he was called upon to kill tigers is now celebrated around the world for saving them. His name is forever linked with protecting the very animal he once had to hunt. His story really leaves us with a critical question, especially today. As our world keeps expanding and wild spaces keep shrinking, these kinds of conflicts are going to happen more and more. So what can we learn from Jim Corbett's journey? What can we learn from the hunter who realized the solution isn't to just eliminate the threat, but to understand and protect the delicate balance we all share?